Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Give It to the People. Today, we are doing a special interview because we have started our Share Small Biz series. And Share Small Biz is here to bring you, of course, small businesses, but specifically those that want to invest in their business. So everybody that participates in this platform gets a blog post, they get a podcast episode, they get a marketing plan to go with it, and they get social media graphics. This is one of the things that we're doing to help our community and our small businesses while we're going through quarantine. So our first person that we get the pleasure to interview today is Kimberly. And Kimberly, if you could just give them a little bit about your business and just let us know how you got started with Couture Copywriting.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your platform. Couture Copywriting was actually birthed out of a similar vision as yours for Give It to the People.
Okay.
I had started a blog called The Color of Ingenuity.
Ooh.
And what I was doing with that blog was interviewing African American entrepreneurs, innovators, thought leaders, and interviewing them, and then I'd write up a blog post or article about them and post it. And the feedback will always be, oh my God, like this is so great. I never, read anything about myself. People were saying that some of the articles were better than, articles that were written by actual journalists for them.
Yeah.
And so from there, I was just like, well, there's a need that some people that's not being fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make sure that our businesses were visible because a lot of times I feel like we're unseen. And so I said, okay, well, one of the things that I can do is I know I write really well. So
Mm-hmm.
how about parlay that into a business to help African-American business owners get their online presence together. And so that's how Couture Copywriting came about.
And I think that's a wonderful thing because writing is definitely an art. And there are people that can write really well and just create a story from almost nothing. So I know that that is definitely a skill set that is necessary out here. Now, when you first started, though, you began writing while you were at Edgecombe, correct? North Edgecombe?
Right, North Edgecombe High School, Warrior Pride.
Okay.
Yes, I had a wonderful English teacher named Miss Barnes, and she was everybody thought she was so dope. She was like one of the prettiest teachers in the building.
Uh-huh.
And I was kind of just really engrossed in her class, and she taught us in a way that we could always relate to. We were free to be ourselves. And so I began writing just different assignments that she would assign to us. And I kind of really fell in love with writing, which I had always written like poetry and things of that nature, but never really had to share it. And in her classroom, we had to share. And so I just really fell in love with it in a different way.
But that's amazing because when you have somebody who believes in you, and especially at a young age of you being in high school and then you turning it into a career, do you think that, her influence is why you're doing what you're doing now?
Definitely. I think that was a part of it. I think that was a spark. Although it still took me years to really take writing seriously.
Okay.
And really look at turning it into a business. She definitely she started it for me.
Okay. And so what made you want to turn it into a business, though? Because, you could have just written for yourself and didn't have to turn it into a business. And you could not have to help other people. But by you doing that and you having such a diverse client base, I think that it was something where, do you feel like it was maybe your calling in order to be able to help other people? Do you feel like, okay, look, I'm just really good at this and let me just make some money with it?
Right, absolutely. So I feel like we're all on this earth to serve, and I felt like The Color of Ingenuity was allowing me to serve. It was a free platform, still exists, but I also knew that I needed to find a way to monetize my talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like that was the perfect way to do it because I'm still serving the community that I want to serve, although I write for a diverse number of people or types of businesses, but it just allowed me to do it in a different way and to be able to monetize it. So I'm making extra money and working on trying to actually turn it into what I do full time.
Mm-hmm. And I like that because one of the things that I always tell people is definitely to monetize your ideas. And if you have a skill set that's out there that people are willing to pay for, then you just have to figure out how much you feel it's worth. And I know that oftentimes, you're working with minority businesses. And from what I can understand, most of the things that you're focusing on is to really alleviate the communication, content writing, social media, and the editing needs. And there are people out here who need that so much, and they don't realize that they need it. So what do you do to try to really pull in those people that are your target clients?
I utilize social media quite a bit. Not only that, but once you begin to work with people and then you do great work for them, they'll tell other people. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my business has come from word of mouth, also advertising via social media, networking, and just making sure that I'm constantly, if I'm looking for people who need the service, and just reaching out to them one-on-one to say, hey, I saw you posted this, or I saw that you mentioned this. Maybe I can assist you. Because a lot of people don't know that copywriters exist, mm-hmm. or they'll see copywriting and think it's something completely different. Just making sure that I'm in a space where you know that I'm available, you understand what I do, and you understand that I'm here to be of assistance to you.
Okay, so the small business owner who's kind of struggling to solidify their online presence, would that be the person that would be perfect for you to be like a target because they don't know what to put? They've been trying, nothing's been working. Would that be a great person for you to work with?
Absolutely. Anyone, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of the times what I see, especially with our is that we understand social media. We'll jump on social media and we'll post on social media, but you don't understand the other side of having an online presence, like actually getting a website and establishing a website. And you can do that for free through programs or platforms like Wix. So I really try to assist people to have a website, even if it's just a basic one-pager, a landing page, whatever it is. But you also then, and on top of that, you have to make sure it's visibly appealing, but you also have to make sure that you capture someone within the first 5 to 8 seconds. Because
and
all of that matters. And girl, that's where copywriting comes in.
That is so important. I'm so glad you said that because you only have a little bit of time to capture people's attention. And when you're doing some of the things, I'm just thinking about the things that are like really important to people right now. So you mentioned having a landing page. Do you write the copy for the landing page? Do you do it like for people or kind of with them? And then other things that people are interested in are like ebooks. So do you do those things for people also?
Right, absolutely. So I absolutely write copy for landing pages. What I find the most joy in doing is writing the copy for your website. So anything from your About Us page, your headlines, taglines, slogans, your products and service descriptions, all of that information, any of that meaty stuff that goes into your website. And I do also do sales copy as well, Facebook ads, your email campaigns, your not necessarily ebooks.
Okay.
In that sense, but a lot of the stuff that you kind of send out that kind of takes away from your day-to-day life.
I think that's wonderful. Now, because I'm thinking about like, let's say with the landing page, a lot of people then want to have maybe some kind of welcome sequence, or a lot of people are also looking in something that can be a free, tangible download for people. Would you write the copy for those kind of things as well?
Right, absolutely. Any of your one-pagers, your one-sheet, speaker sheets, bios, all of that. Yeah.
Do you know that you are like a godsend for so many people because they've been looking for someone and they have not found the person? And a lot of times you can go online and you can find a lot of things, but when you have somebody that's right here in your neighborhood, and I always like to highlight woman-owned, black-owned businesses, and somebody that's capable of creating the content, which means that's one part of the business that somebody can delegate that they don't have to worry about. So when they're coming to you, as far as your clients go, what do they need to provide to you so that you can get started?
Right. So I just need you to be open and honest about what your limitations are and what you're looking for. And my website there's a 30-minute free consultation, so you can go onto my website and book your consultation. From there, once you book your time, it has a form that asks you for everything that I need up front for us to have that initial consultation. And during that consultation, just be open and honest about, what your limitations are, what you feel like you need. A lot of people don't even understand what they need, and so that's what I'm there for. So I just need you to give me the bulk of what you feel like your content needs are in that moment, and we may discover something else that you may need or something that you can take away from that, because I really want to help you get to where you need to be. And sometimes you're overthinking it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're not thinking big enough.
Okay. Now, another thing would be when you're talking about the copy, do you do it where it's like, okay, here's a package, I'm going to get you started, and then you just take over? Or is it more, I'm going to be your ongoing person, and so this is something that you should consider investing in on a monthly basis because it's something that now you don't have to do, and so it's worth you spending the money on?
Right. So it's either one. So a lot of my work is kind of just completing a package for you. But I do have recurring clients as well, whether that be social media or email content, any of that. So it just depends on what your need is and whether or not I have identified that need for your business, because a lot of people need the constant email content and they're struggling to get that out every week, or whatever their routine or their consistency allows for them, but they're still not meeting that. So that's what I'm there for as well.
And that's great. Now, what would you say to a person, because this is one of my things that I'm personally working on right now, but the person that says, well, email is dead, I can just use social media. What would you say to them? Because in my opinion, email is where a lot of the money is left on the table. But what do you say about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have to utilize your contacts. So if you have a MailChimp or a Constant Contact where you're capturing all of these leads, but you're not utilizing, you're leaving money on the table. Absolutely. So yes, email campaigns, constant contact with your list is important. And you may not feel like things are happening. You may be putting out an email once a week and you're not really getting a lot of feedback, but eventually that one email is going to capture their attention, and they're going to say, or just the fact that you're constantly in their inbox on a regular basis, not overwhelming them, but just on a consistent basis, keeping your name or your business's name in their head will make them eventually say, when that need arises, okay, I know exactly who I can go to. So you want to keep in contact with those contacts.
Definitely. Now, with this, has COVID been a big effect on your business as far as positive or negative?
It's been more positive than negative, absolutely, because I was already an online-based service anyway. So it's not like I had a bunch of overhead costs or anything of that nature. So COVID has actually allowed me, my full-time job just furloughed me. So I'm in a position where I have my 24 hours in a day to work for myself. And so I'm just putting a lot of time into, getting on platforms such as Give It to the People and building my social media following a little bit more to make sure that people know that I exist. But in addition to that, it's allowed me to take on many more projects, and people have been coming, needing, and wanting the work, because a lot of people do recognize the fact that, okay, it's really time to build my own business and stop playing around, leaving my future to someone else.
And then I think that now you have the time that maybe you didn't have before to really see where you need to kind of fine tune your business, at the same time fine tuning somebody else's business. So this is one of those things that's not going to go away really quickly, even though people think that it is. But having our businesses and being able to support each other is definitely what we need to do. So I am really happy that you are providing this service for people, and that, your business was not negatively impacted by it, but people need to know that there is somebody that can help with their press releases. There's somebody that can help with their one sheets, because there are a lot of speakers out there. So if you're a coach, you may need to do that also. And if you're a small business, do you work with nonprofits as well?
I do. Absolutely.
Yep. So that I'm just trying to throw out all of the people who probably need to get your services, because if you have somebody that can effectively communicate, that is where it starts to really set you apart from everybody else. And so, she is really focused on customer conversion and also engagement. And that's what the real important part of you doing this couture copywriting and helping other people with their vision. To me, that is the meat and potatoes of what people need right now. So where can people find you online?
So you can find me online at www.couturecw.com. I'll spell that. It's COUTURECW.com.
Okay. And if you're on Instagram or Facebook, is it the same thing, Couture CW?
So it's Couture Copywriting, so all the way out on Instagram as well as on Facebook.
Okay. So guys, you know exactly where to follow her, and they can go on there, get their free 30-minute consultation. This way, you know what they need, assess their needs. And then if they want to go forward and they want to work with you, then they can go ahead and start that relationship. And guess what, guys? Start sooner than later, because Kimberly is here to work, and she is definitely